right here, right now, this moment. Beautiful. Oh, God, you're so good. It's beautiful. Piano, singer, writer, fabulous. Wow. All right, the 4 qualities of a successful life. It's actually a redefining of success because in society, of course, it's money, fame, fortune. And in the spiritual life, we know that there's much more beautiful nuggets of what we're really looking for that we find in the spiritual life. And so we got 1 more month of summer to go, and except for those of you that work in the schools, and you've already gone back and started your school year. But and summer is often a really good time to read books. Sometimes things that may not be, what we normally read for class and stuff, mysteries and romances and adventures and things like that. And I hope you're enjoying those books. I'm just not drawn to them. It's like I just go for that, just for the stuff all the time, which is good because then that gives me something to talk to you all about. So what we're going to do this month is we're going to take 4 books that are on the New Thought summer reading list and just kind of share some things about those books. And the one that we're going to take a look at today is Thrive, which was written by Arianna Huffington. And we're going to look at the 4 qualities that redefine a successful life. And in the book, she says that what I just said, that, money, fame, and fortune, kind of falls short. Usually once you get it and you realize, oh, okay, I'm still not happy, right? Although there's nothing wrong with that. Wouldn't we just love to have all of that and, right? So she says that none of those things in and of themselves will ever lead to a life that thrives. She then lays out and discusses in depth, supported by a lot of scientific research, 4 specific qualities that help us to redefine success in a way that supports a life that thrives, that you love, that's working on all levels. And she says the difference between what success looks like and what truly makes us thrive isn't always clear as we're living our lives, but it becomes much more obvious in the rearview mirror, right? We're all so brilliant when we can look back and go, oh, I did all that. But, have you noticed that when someone actually passes, that the eulogies celebrate our lives very differently than the way that society measures success? In eulogies, you almost never hear things like the crowning achievement of his life was that he made senior vice president. She increased her market share for her company multiple times during her tenure, or she never stopped working. She ate lunch at her desk every day. Like that's a good thing, right? While he didn't have many real friends, he had 600 Facebook friends. And he dealt with every email in his mailbox. So eulogies are often about other stuff, and I think that they point to what we know to be more true, that really it's about how we've lived our lives, how we've connected, how we've shared of ourselves. I don't know why I just keep crying in front of you all the time. I don't plan this. And how much? Oh, it's allergies. Thank you, Michael. That's what it is. Okay, it's allergies. I have terrible allergies today. It's about our family and friends and how we connected and how we loved, right? So being spiritually awake and conscious people, we all know these things. But just in case there's somebody here who's, not, Or perhaps we can be a little reminded of some of these qualities that we've talked about before here. And the first one is well-being. There was a South African poet who wrote that every day the world will drag you by the hand, yelling, "This is important. No, this is important. This is important. No, over here, this is important. And this, and this, and this." And each day, it's up to us to yank back your hand back from there, and go, "No, this is what's important. This." Your own well-being. Your own well-being. So that's the first quality of a successful life. Many people might remember that story that Stephen Covey wrote about in his book, First Things First. And he spoke about this professor that taught this business class for all these overachievers. And he had it set up when they came into class one day, and there was a big mason jar on the desk. And he started putting these big rocks inside this mason jar. And when it was to the top, he asked his students if the jar was full. And they said, no. No, and they said, yes. And so he reached back under here and he poured in some gravel. He says, "Is it full now?" He said, "Yes." They're kind of getting on to him, you know. And so he reaches under here and he pours sand to the top. He said, "Is it full now?" And they're like, "No." And he reaches a pitcher of water and he pours that to the top. He says, "Is it full now?" Like, And he said, "Well, what's the point of this?" And one of the eager beavers raised his hand and said, "Well, no matter how packed your schedule is, you can always fit more." And he said, "No. What this means, and is demonstrating, is that if you don't put the big rocks in first, there won't be room for them because the small things will take up all the room." And that, that's so instructive to how we sometimes do our life. So do we make our well-being at the top of the list? Is that the top priority? If it is, and we know, and we speak about this every Sunday, that your spiritual connection with God, with the universe, with life, with you and with others, that's what really matters. But that conscious connection, without making that the priority and the basis from which all else flows, you're going to come up a little empty. Holmes tells us that a unity must be established and a conscious connection must be made. This beautiful space that we come together in on Sunday mornings, it's nourishing to the soul, isn't it? Even if you didn't arrive feeling that way and you didn't want to be here, you feel better for it, don't you? It nourishes something that is necessary. And there's an energy that's here from what our intention is, and from week after week, year after year, showing up to sustain this space and the healing love that's possible here. And this is a life where things get changed. People's lives change when they come here and they start taking classes and they start learning and practicing the beautiful principles that we teach here. And we get to see that, I love watching a new person come for their first time in here. The energy is so loving and so welcoming and so beautiful that you can literally see a transformation take place from when they walk in the door to like looking out and seeing them partway through the service, or at the end, like, not really knowing what's going on, but it's really good, and it's such a beautiful thing. It's like eating. You don't eat one meal and go, okay, well, I've done that. You got to keep that, or you don't take one breath and go, okay, well, I breathed. It's like you got to just kind of keep on doing it, and that's and that's why it's so supportive to our souls that we come together every week. So I would just encourage and remind all of us how valuable this is, and if the priorities are a little out of order, let's get them right side up again, because life works better that way, doesn't it? And you know what else? It's really good for your health to come here every Sunday. There was a study that was done at Harvard. It was a 20-year study, and they were trying to see what effect coming to church had on people's health. And it was pretty amazing that they found that they live longer when they have regular attendance, that less depression and less blood, or not less blood pressure, but all of these things were increased by someone's spiritual life and the commitment of showing up every week and praying and doing those things. Blood pressure, cardiovascular function, less coronary artery disease, immune function, endocrine function, greater marital stability, greater purpose in life, and overall more happiness. And that's really what we want, right? I was listening to NPR yesterday, and they were talking to some kids. It was like a game show thing. And they were talking to some kids, and they're like, well, hi, little Johnny. What do you want to be when you grow up? And he's like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, and, and I like to do this, and I like to do that. Well, little Susie, what do you want? Well, I want to be, and they were giving these kinds of answers, and I thought, wouldn't it be just great if they said to the little kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the kid just said, happy. Because as adults, we find that's peace and happiness and joy and love. It's those things that we think the thing or the position or the money or the whatever is going to bring us. And that's the real stuff. That's the real stuff. So not only is it good for you and good for your health, but your being here makes a difference to everybody else. I mean, it just makes a difference for everyone. And so I want you to turn to someone by you and to tell them that your presence here today matters to me. All right. All right, let's come back. And I just want you to center yourself in your own heart right now. And I want you to say to yourself, my presence here today matters to myself and to others. The second quality of a redefined successful life is wisdom. Not knowledge, but wisdom. And wisdom is recognizing what really matters in life, what we just talked about. Connection and love to ourselves, to God, to others. We need that, and we need a place where we can come and there's love and connection and acceptance. And that's so much what we want and work to create here, is a safe space where people feel safe enough, where they can heal and grow and learn. And that's why it's just so important that we practice our best in this space. It's one of the things I love about working in a church as opposed to a club where everybody's drunk, which that's fun too. But people come with the intention of spiritual growth, and they show up their best. And even if you're not feeling your best, by the time you walk out, you probably are doing a lot better. And so for us to always remember what our best is, to do our best when we come here, to be a light, to be respectful, to not participate in the things that go on, out in the world that we've all been hurt by. People talking nasty or gossiping or putting people down or, just all of that goes on. We want this to be a space that is a refuge from that. A refuge from that. Because if you don't feel safe enough, you're not going to open up your heart, and all the sorrow and pain that's happened for everyone in life, where are you going to heal that if not here? You can't do it in a spiritual community, So it's so important that this be the place where we do better than maybe what we do out there, right? And that as a community, that we help lift one another up. That if somebody's slipping into that stuff that goes on out there, that you don't participate in it. That you act as one with the heart of healing. How can I help you heal this? Could we go together and talk with this person about that? Having the intention for goodness and healing rather than coming down into all that stuff that nobody likes. Not even the people that are the worst at it, the worst of the ones that are doing that. They don't like it either. So, and I have to say, our community is amazing. I've never met so many incredible people ever. It really blows me away how wonderful people can be. And it also blows me away how mean they can be, right? And it hurts. So we can lift that vibration up, and we can be a part of the solution rather than participating in that level of frequency. Nola, where are you, sweetie? Oh, there she is. When we were doing that I Matter thing, I remember, we get so many letters and emails and cards and stuff from people just saying how much this place has meant to them, how much it does mean to them, how it's supported them, and just expressing their gratitude. And I remember we were at World Music, and it might have been Nola's first time with us. Maybe it wasn't the first, but she was a newbie. And I did a talk on You Matter. And this little sweetheart came up to me after the service, and tears are just pouring down her face. And she's like, I matter, you know? And I was like, oh my God. I mean, it meant the world to her to hear those words. You matter. You do. Absolutely. We all do for one another. And sweet little Anna, God, I love you, girl. This is going to be Anna's last day with us. I'm crying too, honey. Oh, I just love this girl. If I had a kid, it would be her. She's moving back to Maine. She came to Nashville to do a lot of healing, deep healing work. And I told her, I said, man, I wish when I was 23 years old, I knew what you know and had done the work that you've done. You know, you're just an incredible young woman, and you just have amazing things ahead of you. And we're so happy you've been a part of our community, and we'll just keep on supporting and loving you, honey. Yeah. Oh, boy. Wisdom. Knowing what matters. What really matters here. The third quality is wonder. Wonder. That's not something that's really talked about too much, which is really too bad, because do you know what wonder does? It immediately throws you into enlightenment. And isn't that what we're all going for, right? Well, I'll tell you, those moments of beauty, that astonishment, that admiration, that, where it takes your breath away, I can't believe. In that moment, like the mind stops, and it's like you're in reality. It's like you are one with what you're beholding. That's the beauty of art and music and literature and, you know, even like 4th of July fireworks, you know, those moments. You want to know what enlightenment is? Right there, that second. That's what it is, where it just stops and wonder. Start paying attention to those moments. It's mysterious. It's just awe-inspiring. St. Augustine said that we rarely embrace these things about wonder, the astonishment, the admiration. There's a fourth definition of wonder that says a feeling of doubt or uncertainty. And that sounds like it wouldn't be part of the other description. You know, I mean, we all can relate to doubt and uncertainty. Okay, yeah, we got that one. But I think what that's really referring to as it relates to wonder is that it's that don't know mind. Because when you're coming from that space in the gap that you are when you see something that's just and takes your breath away like that, there's no mind in that. And when you're coming from that place, they say beginner's mind or the don't know mind, it's like you are teachable. Things, you can be affected by things. But if you are just so certain, you know, it's going to close, it's going to shut that stuff down. And I'm not talking about the kind of knowing we talk about when we do spiritual mind treatment, because, you know, spiritual mind treatment, what that really does is it gets you to that place of wonder also. You know, just that, everything really is okay. Oh, yeah, you know. So here's the thing, and this is a little exercise I'd like you to take into your lives this week, is we understand wonder at things, fireworks, beauty, art, music. I want you to see if you can wonder, have that experience when you look at yourself. Have you ever had that? Where you're able to be in that witness position that we talked about last month, where you're kind of watching the character that you are do its thing, and it's like, wow, and it's like amazing. Wow, she does that. I mean, it is so incredible to have that sense of wonder with what you are, or what you appear to be, or all of it. So I want you to see if you can catch yourself being as amazing as you are. Catch yourself at it. And it'll take not being like completely identified with the character. It'll take kind of some space and kind of being able to watch yourself a little bit and just go, whoa, how'd she know how to do that? Wow, what did she just say? I mean, it's really, I have to tell you, it's one of the most delightful things. And what it does is it helps develop real self-love and appreciation. Real self-love and appreciation. Because if you can, we can see it in others, right? We can look at them and go, how did she do that? Wow. Oh my God, you're just so amazing the way that you do it for yourself. Y'all are amazing too. And I can't wait. In fact, send me emails of catching yourself being amazing. I would love to hear those. All right, so our fourth and final quality, and you all are so good at this, and you know it, which is giving. So we've had well-being, wisdom, wonder. So we're going off the W's to the G. To giving. Acclaimed Bengali poet and Nobel Prize recipient wrote, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy." Isn't that true? Don't you find, like, when you really do give of yourself to somebody else who needs something, some help, some support, a kind word, a smile, how your heart feels joy? Holmes wrote a whole chapter on alcoholism, because any of you that have been part of the 12-step program know that, the key is passing along what you have to another. It's all about service. And he says that it's generally accepted that some form of useful service to humanity is one of the best possible ways of seeking permanent happiness. It really, it is. All you got to do is look to your last experiences of when you were helpful. You feel good. It feels good. Huffington writes this, and I think she sounds like a New Thought preacher in this. She says, "Every place is full of openings to make a real difference in the life of another human being. There are millions of small missed opportunities at home or in the offices or on the subway or street or in the grocery store. When we flex our giving muscles every day, the process begins to transform our own lives. Because however successful we are, when we go out into the world to get things, we're operating from a deficit, a perceived deficit, focused on what we don't have, and we're trying to get it. It's, what you were referring to. But, see, when we give, however little or however much that we have. It may be counterintuitive, but, and she gives this example, she says, it's like gravity that enables us to stand tall. That which seems to pull us down to earth and limit us is exactly what enables us to expand upward. In that same way, it is when we give that we feel the most abundant. Giving sends a message to the universe that we have all we need. In fact, so much it's spilling over that we got to give it away. And we become virtuous by the practice of virtue, responsible by the practice of responsibility, generous by the practice of generosity, compassionate by the practice of compassion, and we become abundant by giving it to others. Isn't that beautiful? And you see, it's practice. We can't sit home and read books about compassion or read books about abundance. I mean, we can, but we also got to go out and actually practice those things. That's how you're going to reap the rewards of it. So the 4 qualities that we've looked at today from Thrive are well-being, particularly your spiritual well-being, and wisdom. And the deepest wisdom is knowing that connection and love is what we're really looking for. And realize also that life is unfolding perfectly for our highest good, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. It is. It is. And wonder, not just at those amazing things that people do and create and that we can partake of, but also the wonder of ourselves. And giving. Not from a sense of, okay, I have to give because I want to get some things, and I know that if I give, I'm going to get, right? I mean, that's what our minds do, right? But really giving from that place of overflow and abundance, coming from that place. In order to thrive, we must include our own well-being, our ability to draw on our intuition and inner wisdom, and our sense of wonder, and our capacity for compassion, feeling what someone else may be experiencing, and giving in that way. We've got just a few minutes, and I would just love today to hear from a few of you about how you've practiced and utilized these 4 things, or one of the 4, in your life that has been meaningful for you, that may give hope to someone else. Is there anyone that would like to share? Emily.
Well, I know whenever I had felt poor, which used to happen a lot, back when I was in my 20s and 30s, the thing that felt really good to do was to make a huge pot of soup and then give it to a bunch of people. Or make a bunch of bread and give it away. And I always felt much richer after I had done something.
I love that. Beautiful. Good. Yes. Can you speak up, honey? I want everybody to hear you.
This is a place that's full of miracles and so much love. You walk in and you feel it. And I really feel it has changed my life. And I might have said that many times in my life, but this time it comes from my deepest part of my soul, my heart. And using these qualities, I didn't realize that I am doing that. And that is why I wake up and say, I love my puppy. I never said that before.
Thank you, because this little goddess of love is so full that it spills over. She sends me these beautiful, lovely, kind of channeled spiritual I love you and you're wonderful and blah, blah, blah kind of stuff every day. And I just go, oh, thank you. Yeah, so glad you found us. Yeah. And you know what I love? Even though you feel absolutely wonderful and you're practicing all these things that I'm talking about, here you are. Here you are, still willing to learn and grow, and even more importantly, to share what you have with other people that are not there. A lot of times people will just leave once they feel good again. Thank you for coming back. You give us hope, you know. It's like, if everybody leaves once you're doing good, what's the rest of us going to do, right? Well, I just love you, and I do experience wonder all the time, you know. Yes, Carrie.
This past Christmas, when I was able to buy presents, I never felt so rich as to do all that. And I think I can say it's my best Christmas ever because it just meant so much to me to do that.
Oh, Carrie, yeah, she bought 80 presents, wrapped them, and put them under our tree so that everyone who would walk in that door would at least have one present for Christmas. Yeah. I know there's a lot more stories, but, you know, you all are wonderful. Catch yourself. Catch yourself being wonderful. I love you. That's it. And so it is.